मैं कुछ कांड करूंगा आज। कलर कहाँ है? पिंक कलर। हाँ, गड़बड़ हुआ। हाँ हाँ, वो कहाँ गया है? प्रिंट में आए वो डार्क शेड। हाँ, वगैरह सेलेक्ट करके डिलीट कर दो। हम इसमें कई सारे सर्कल बन गए। आप टेक्स्ट बॉक्स बॉक्स को सेलेक्ट कर लिया, उसमें जो कलर बॉक्स प्रिंट का और एक सारी चीजें हो गई। एक उस पर राइट क्लिक करो उसी बॉक्स पे, बॉक्स से क्या बॉक्स को सेलेक्ट करो। नहीं हुआ सिलेक्ट। हाँ, अब उसको सेट करेंट प्रॉपर्टी में डिफॉल्ट कर दो। बस अब वो हर जगह के लिए सेट हो गया, सेव कर लेंगे। अब जब भी बॉक्स बनाओगे ना टेक्स्ट बॉक्स वो।
हेलो। 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 हेलो।
Hello, hi. Yes, you are audible.
ओके।
Okay, thank you.
माइक्रोफोन
Hello, all. Welcome to the Fireside Chat series of Igniting the Flames of Gujarati Family Businesses, Episode 4, with Mr. Piruz Khambatta, Group Chairman, Rasna Group. I would just like to welcome you, everyone, and we will start in the next 2 minutes. Allow us for few people to join in. Looking forward to this session. Thank you. Hi, Rohan.
Hi.
Chirag this side. Very good evening. Just
Yeah,
a quick
hi.
mic check.
Yes, all set from my side.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Rohan, for joining.
All right, perfect.
So we are just waiting for Mr. Khambata. He will be joining us in next 2 minutes. So
Okay.
request everyone to please hold on, and then we will be having an engaging session. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Khambata here.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
Good evening, Chairman.
Please.
Okay, so sir, thank you for joining. Thank you for sparing the time. Thank you, Rohan. Just to quickly start without much await, I'll just quickly say thank you again to both of you for your kind presence. I request and very warm welcome to each and everyone participant joining us today. I would like to welcome Mr. Rohan Shah, co-chair, Ahmedabad chapter, Young Indians, and founder and CEO, Hedweeg Innovations Pvt Limited. Rohan, thank you for accepting this at end moment. And unfortunately, due to unavoidable reasons, Mr. Bhavik Khera is unable to join. So we have Rohan who will be taking over from here. Rohan, over to you. Last thing, to all the participants, you may post your questions in the chat box. We will be taking it at the last during the Q&A round. And please feel free to be candid with sir. We will try and accommodate all the questions we can. Thank you. Rohan, over to you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Chirag. Thank you very much. And welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Fireside Chat, igniting the flame of Gujarati family businesses. And just for the participants who have joined for the very first time today, let me give you a little bit of background about this Fireside Chat. So CII have recognized the invaluable wisdom and experience possessed by our successful Gujarati business families. And these families have not only built thriving enterprises, but have also played a pivotal role in shaping Gujarat's entrepreneurial landscape. To leverage this rich knowledge base and inspire the next generation of entrepreneurs, CII has launched a Fireside Chat series as a part of CII Gatishil Gujarat Vriddhi, igniting the flame of Gujarati family businesses initiative. This series is aimed to bring together the best of Gujarati business families to share their insights, lesson learned, wisdom, and their success stories. And today, we are in our fourth episode of our chat series with an amazing guest, a visionary entrepreneur who has created a brand that needs no introduction. In fact, not even to a child. Yes, we are talking about Rasna. So now, let me before we begin our talk with Piruz Bhai, let me just give you a little bit background about the Rasna as an organization. Rasna International has been a household name for over 3 decades. Established in 1976 by Piruz Khambatta, the grandfather of our current chairman and managing director, Piruz Bhai Khambatta. Rasna positioned itself as a cost-effective alternative to high-priced soft drink available at the time. The brand gained immense popularity with its iconic jingle, I Love You Rasna, revolutionizing the powder drink market. The journey of Rasna began under the visionary leadership of Piruz Khambatta, whose pioneering effort laid the foundation of the brand's phenomenal success. Arish Piruz Khambatta, his son, who was also awarded the Padma Shri in 2023, helped establish Rasna as a staple in every Indian household. Piruz Khambatta, his son, continues to drive the brand towards new heights. Under his dynamic leadership, Rasna has expanded its product range and a global reach to ensuring its position as a market leader. It is ranked number fourth in the cold beverage category and stands as number one in Indian-owned brand, reflecting its strong consumer trust and loyalty. Rasna's extensive product portfolio caters to diverse consumer needs, offering instant drink products, fruit cordials, syrups, squashes, confectionaries, ready-to-eat curries, pickles, jams, and many more. With a robust manufacturing and distribution networking comprises 12 plants in India and 2 abroad, 35 warehouses, 2,500 stockists, and 1.8 million outlets. Rasna ensures its products reach consumers across India and in 53 countries worldwide. The model of Make in India initiative, Rasna's marketing campaign features renowned Indian celebrities like including Paresh Rawal, Anupam Kher, Hrithik Roshan, Akshay Kumar, Kapil Dev, Saina Nehwal, Kareena Kapoor, and the current brand ambassador Rohit Sharma. This endorsement have solidified Rasna's presence in both domestic and international market. Rasna's modern production facilities and willingness to engage in the joint ventures, collaborations, and private label manufacturing enable its meet to a large scale demand efficiently. So join us in celebrating Rasna's remarkable journey and its contribution to global market at the CII Fireside Chat Series, once again, igniting flames with the Gujarati family businesses. And with us today, we have the chairman and director of Rasna International, Mr. Piruz Khambatta. Now, before I begin my questions, I also want to introduce and give a little bit introduction about him. Well, he needs no introduction, but I'm still going to do it for sure. So Piruz is a visionary chairman and a managing director of Rasna International, has been a transformative force in the family-owned company. Following the footsteps of his grandfather, Piruz Khambatta, and his father, Aris Khambatta, Piruz has steered Rasna to global prominence since he took over the leadership in 1990s. Piruz is not only known for his business acumen, but also for his significant contribution to the broader industry as the former chairman of CII Gujarat and CII Western region, and now a prominent figure on the National Council of CII. Piruz has been a staunch advocate for MSMEs. He has played a crucial role in heading various panels to positively impact the MSME sector in India, showcasing and championing their interests at a national level. Piruz Bhai's dedication extends beyond business to social responsibility, advocating for inclusive growth, sustainability, and his efforts in promoting responsible businesses practices reflect his belief in balancing innovation with tradition and social impact, ensuring Rasna's success and relevance in a competitive market. And so with that, I would like to begin my conversation with Piruz Bhai. And I can't thank myself enough that I got this opportunity to have a wonderful conversation with Piruz Bhai. So welcome, Piruz Bhai. We look forward to have an amazing conversation with you.
No, thank you for your very, very elaborate biodata of mine. But I think your biodata I studied on LinkedIn, and Rohan, it's my equal pleasure to talk to you because these type of sessions are sort of both ways. So, and with your background, obviously, I will learn from you. And I would like to tell everybody, generally, we keep a little bit of a dialogue between the two before, but we have not met. So I think we are meeting here first time. So we are breaking the ice in front of all of you. In a way, it is very good also because that means that I have not been tutored what to do. So I don't know what questions is going to ask. And so, so very nice. And more importantly, let me say very clearly, I am here not as part of as only Rasna, but I am here as a CII man because as probably everybody knows, I have been also with my business journey and CII journey have started together. So it is always a pleasure to interact with around 70 plus people, fellow CII and CII members and prospective CII members. So it's my honor to be here and chat with all of you. And I would like this interaction to be more informative, more what I call useful for the participants. So I would also request Rohan that possibly we can keep some little bit more time for question answer also. Of course, if people have, so that we can be forthright in those. And I will be very clear. I obviously, thanks to a lot of good things, I have knowledge of a lot of subjects. So Rohan, you can be free to ask me anything from family business to Atmanirbhar Bharat to whatever you want to ask, including the current things which are happening at the in our neighborhood. Because all said and done, that also has a ramification on Indian economy and the way the Indian future, so to speak. So I'll be very happy to take all this discussion further. And once again, I thank CII, the CII's backroom staff for helping and putting all this together.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. It's my pleasure. And feel free to also tell me that, Rohan, you didn't ask me this question and it is important. So I will do that. So anyways, just to begin, I want to start with the journey. I want to start with your journey, the Rasna's journey rather. So Rasna has been the household names for the decades, and of course. So if you would like to share some, if you would like to share some pivotal moments of Rasna's journey that has significantly shaped its current standing, and also with the how they have Rasna has managed to stay ahead of the competition, especially with the influx of these multinational brands in India.
See, the journey is not multinational, if you ask me. And I would firmly take this question like this. There is nothing like multinational and national. There is something like a good brand which people accept and not a good brand. So I think there are a lot of Indian brands which people equally accept, and there are a lot of foreign brands also equally accepted as good as Indian brands. In fact, some foreign brands are known in India but not abroad. So to that extent, I would not like to say that. But the first part of the question is a very interesting question you have asked, that for a brand like Rasna, what have been the major, what I call changes or churns we have seen. So I would like to probably explain them a little bit like this, that there was a formative stages. And of course, then the challenge was to teach people how to drink a concentrate, because nobody knew that you have to add a powder and in a water or have a concentrate and a drink can be made. So it is as a good that our main challenge was, unlike most companies, we had to teach people how to use our product. Imagine it is like nobody knows how to make a tea in a foreign land, and you have to tell the people here is the tea, you brew it and then heat it, and then there's a milk to be added and something like that. So earlier years, the whole challenge was concept marketing, concept selling, and those days were different because in those days the options were few and there was not so much media available also. So it was more done through house to house campaigns, through in-shop campaigns, and through a large team of people who used to actually do this physically, teach people. So those were the formative years. Then came our advent on television, when actually, luckily, television started. Indira Gandhi gave all the TV sets because of the Asiad, and TVs came into the home. And brands like Rasna, I would say even Nirma, we were the beneficiaries of this early getting on TV. So we definitely went on TV with the same message. But of course, when we were earlier days, we were doing sampling at home and teaching people. Here we had a little girl on television telling people that I make rasna and I like rasna, and of course, coffee, tea, and rasna and all. Once again, the ads were similar concept, selling the product, that is how the product has to be made. And mind you, actually, we were at a negative because there was no other company doing it. So all the concept selling, all the money I was spending. If five companies are doing it, it is easy. Like for example, makhana. Everybody is telling makhana is good, then it is easy to market makhana. Here I was the only one teaching people that this is the concentrate and we have to make it. So then we came to the TV age. And I believe that was a very golden period because actually on TV there was nobody else. The rates were less. So Mahabharats and Ramayans were ruling the roost. So with a very less money, let us say with 10,000 rupees for 10 seconds, we used to probably get the whole eyeball of the whole nation. Today, even an IPL ad, if I have to put, even that won't get half of the Mahabharat crowd, but I have to spend 10 lakh rupees. So possibly if I have to spend 10,000 rupees, I am spending 10 lakh rupees, but getting half. And I think Bhavik has joined. Bhavik, thank you very much for joining. I would have been loved to you to be also part of this thing. I think Bhavik's brother is there. So coming back to those days were television days. So then we moved away. We took the full advantage of it and we expanded the pan India presence. Because with television, we saw that people were watching Mahabharata, Ramayana not only in Gujarat and Maharashtra and Rajasthan, but they were watching across the country. So suddenly, Rasna became a brand for Guwahati also, and for Srinagar also, and Kanyakumari also. So we appointed distributors across the country, and TV and distribution went hand in hand. So probably in those early days, also we had a distribution which was probably pan India. We started.
Yeah.
And our idea of distribution in those days also was a very unique idea, which was this, that we used to ensure that distributors become our partners. So the salespeople and the salesmen used to be given by the distributors, and they were like our distribution marketing partners. So this is the way we expanded in those years. Then 91 came, and then suddenly India was opening up. And I think that was another challenge. So number one challenge was to concept the concept. Number two challenge was to get the full benefit of the TV by getting a distribution pan India, which I think we did very successfully because otherwise there's no point having a product you're known everywhere, but we are selling in four pockets with a very different models of distribution. Number third challenge was, and I think a major challenge was that a lot of foreign brands came in, and somehow or the other, the biggest guy in our category was, we all know, and I can openly talk about it, it's an open secret, it was Thumbs Up and Gold Spot and Limca. And suddenly they were the ones, and Dukes and all, a lot of Indian brands in the bottled drink market. And suddenly there was a whole, what I call what I call wave of these companies selling to foreigners. And suddenly the whole idea was that Indian companies won't survive. That was the idea. And I was also told and advised something like this, but I always believed, and I have said that openly even those days, and I'm saying now, that competition from foreigners is not a reason to walk away. Competition from foreigners means that they are putting their money in the category, and we will also gain by putting or remaining in the category and putting more money. So we also try to take the full advantage of it. And mind you, while let us say many of our Indian competitors they sold off, today we are the only player who have not only stayed in the category but have a market share which is higher than the foreigners in this category. So to speak, we and so the whole 90s, we the 90s to 2000 was a whole time where we were trying to ensure that we increase our market share, or what I call we keep our market share. Then we come to the 2000s. And then suddenly we found that ultimately the India was changing. So people wanted more instant drinks and people wanted products which are more innovative. So the whole of 2000s, we have come out with innovations every year, which have possibly been I would say, the best phase of Rasna, that we have been the most innovative company in the category. And across the years, in those 2000s, we have introduced new flavors like from Aquafina to what is it? The Aquafina is a blue drink to a Kala Katta, new rebranded to a Nimbu, to a Shikanji, to Aam Panna, to host of products. And not only that, we also had all the celebrities you talked about. So in short, we brought them in 2000s. So 2000, the whole with this we sort of had a run. And luckily for us, most of our products were so innovative that no MNC or no foreigner or no Indian company could really match it. So we had, for example, fruit-based powders for the first time at one end. We had 1 rupee two products at one end. So I think it was also a very good run. Then the major challenge which has come is in the COVID years. And COVID, every soft drink had a challenge. And we also had a challenge. And obviously, I should tell you openly that most of the soft drinks in the category, the sales have become half post-COVID. But luckily, today we are better off than pre-COVID. And the reason is that we have changed our portfolio to a lot of health and vitamins and naturalness. And we have, for example, introduced after COVID not one, two, but probably half a dozen health related products, protein powders, honey based powders, powders with more vitamins. Incidentally, my latest ad is with Tamanna Bhatia, which talks of Rasna mein khali pyar nahi hai, vitamin bhi hai. So the whole message is that you have vitamins, your immunity. So post COVID, we have to rejig the whole Rasna game, and we have made it more health oriented. And herein lies the main message for most MSMEs that today, if you want to be relevant, I can't be and in the glory of my grandfather or father or whatever my children can't. Okay, I was so great yesterday. I will be great tomorrow. I have to look at the future. And in my mind, a lot of startups they come to me and say, "We are a startup." I say, "I am also a startup because every year I'm doing something new. I am no different." And in my mind, if you ask me, for me, there is a bigger challenge because startup starts from zero. So anything above zero looks very nice. For me, there is already a benchmark which is so high. I am a Shahrukh Khan. I have reached this level. So if I have to grow from that level, I have to do much higher than let us say a young boy who is coming in the business today. So if you ask me, for me, it is more difficult because already there is a benchmark. People see me. कि भैया ये करेगा इससे ऊपर करना है. So for me, and that is the challenge. But I think we are meeting it, to put it that way.
Oh, so thank you. In fact, since you mentioned, you have actually answered my next question about the current trends and coping up with the health. So thank you very much for that. Since you touched upon the MSME, I would like to get a little bit more insights on the MSME sector because it's one of the sectors requires a lot of learning in terms of their growth. So just to begin and set the context for the MSME, what do you think? What are the most common challenges today MSME faces, and how they can be addressed?
I luckily, as part of my CI exercise, I have addressed a lot of MSME gatherings. I have also addressed a lot of MSME gatherings for media houses. Luckily, I have also chaired a few juries of MSME awards of media companies where I get to see the business plans and production, whatever balance sheets of MSME companies whom we are going to award. So to that extent, I have studied. See, my general philosophy is MSMEs go wrong in three, four things, and possibly I would like to talk of all those three, four things. You'll have to give me 3, 4 minutes at least.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Number one, they go wrong because I somehow believe that MSMEs down the hill, they feel that we will take this government benefit and that government benefit and we will grow. Mostly the government has given you what I call incentivized to become remain small. So when they say 50 lakh benefit for excise, then you want to be in that 50 lakh game side. You will say, I will not pay this tax. And then you have two, three companies, and then you play in that game. Then they say, okay, this benefit in an estate, so you have, let us say, multiple companies and then take those benefits. I somehow believe that no business can survive if it is only made to look at government benefits. And I think we have to go beyond government subsidies and benefits. So that is, I think, one thing which I generally see. So MSMEs have to plan for a bigger run. Number two, I believe many MSMEs they have to learn family management, family governance also. Most of the times MSMEs are in problem because of family. It's not the company is bad or the product is bad or there is any problem. The family is probably doesn't see in one line. So probably the typical, even big happens in big families. So a family constitution, a company constitution, a clear understanding that father will do this, brother will do this, sister will do this, or whoever will do this, and a clear idea of how we'll all grow together. Of course, I'm a firm believer to grow together is a very important thing. So the family dynamics is generally important. Number three is they get stuck in this, what I call, there is always what I call a war. That how much equity and how much debt. Now it's a balance, a fine balance in simplistic terms, I'm telling you. Now, if your turnover is 100 crores, for example, and you have a business plan to grow to 500, very well, you can. Many companies you can go to 5,000, but you can't take a 100 crore debt for that because then the debt is going to kill you. So I think they need to understand that there has to be a very good balance between equity and debt. And I think that balance somewhere sometimes kills the companies. And then suddenly you go under. So I somehow believe that a very good financial planning is something which is desirable. And that is something which is needs to be done. And there are a lot of ways you can today do it because there are a lot of money available from abroad also, which is cheaper. Of course, there is an IPO you do at a MSME, SME IPO is also possible. Of course, angel funds or whatever if you are new is available. Fine, equity players are available for what I call private equity. So I think there is one arena where I have seen that there can be a lot of betterness done. Other two things I would like to say. One is the technology problem. Most of the MSMEs they use outdated technology. And I think whatever I said is not as important as this. That if you have outdated technology in today's world, you may not survive probably the next year also. Because don't forget, we are today competing in a global environment. India is today talking of signing FTAs and PTAs. So even if a company in Vietnam or Indonesia is today more, what I call productive or more innovative than you, and it can churn out better products in cheaper, then who are going to buy your products? Today market is open. So to have innovation and ensure lower cost of the product is a major challenge, and for which MSMEs have to look outward. They have to buy technology abroad. They have to possibly have joint ventures. When I say joint ventures, not the financial ones, the technological ones abroad. They need to invest in R&D, so technology gain. And last and most important is to see beyond India. I somehow believe, and actually for Rasna, that has been a big gain, and possibly later I will talk about it, and how we have made our company into almost an export-oriented company. But how do we ensure that we don't make for India, but make for the world? And in my mind, that is the biggest advantage if what I call biggest thing MSME should be doing. Like I am the honorary council of Korea also, and we all know the Samsungs and the Kias and Hyundais of the world. But we should also know that Korea is today Korea because the MSME sector is very vibrant and the MSME sector is growing. And there are so many companies in MSME, and where this big companies they always support the MSMEs. They grow, they go as a group. So if one big company comes to India, 100 supporting MSMEs from Korea also come, 100. And that's
Yeah,
how they
yeah.
grow. I think this whole ecosystem of five big companies and 50 MSMEs going together abroad is something definitely from Korea we can learn. And that's how we have to capture the world markets together. So this is a broad outlook of what I think should be happening in the MSME space.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Thank you, Piruz Bhai. So you mentioned about three areas. One is, of course, the family and succession planning. You also mentioned about technology. You also mentioned about going global. But and I would like to touch upon all three with the separate questions. But before I move that, I still have one more question regarding the MSMEs, especially around the policies, the government policies with MSMEs. So, since you being the champion for the MSME cause in CII, what do you believe that are one of the most critical government policies needed today to support these small and medium enterprises in India?
Best policy is no policy. I think this country is over-regulated, and I
Really?
sometimes have ever laugh at it. So, there is honestly, ask me, tell me one thing. What is the need of, say, 100 acts and so many regulations? Honestly, there is no need. So, if one
Yeah.
thing we need to all know is we need no regulation, if you ask me. And what happens in the guise of ease of doing business, also, there is always two things are eased. I'm very happy, but four more things are brought in. So, my
Yeah.
general message is least regulation. Number two, all things to be done, and which I'm very happy to tell you that the government of India has looked in central government at a very, very proactive manner, and I should praise the government for it. That everything online, I'm going to praise the government for it. That is happening. So lesser regulations, everything online. Like I am a great believer that the income tax faceless assessment has been a success, if you ask me. And GST also has been a success because of the IT. So I think these are the two good models. So let us take those models and take them further. So lesser regulations, everything online, a national single window, ensuring that this is a huge subject. I can take the whole 1 hour on this, but to be very concise, ease of doing business in the real sense, everything online, least amount of regulation, be it labor, pollution, and everything. You have obvious regulation, but the least, and a whole arena where industry is treated as a partner. This is not a police criminal game. Yeah, there is a police and there is a criminal and you are running up. No, no industry is criminal. We are also today equally nation builders as much as the government of India or, for example, the bureaucrat. Now, do you think in food I want to give anything poorer to my own children? My own children drink my product. So let us not
Yeah.
understand that ये चोर है और ये उसके पीछे भागना है हमको. No. You give him the clear guidelines, you make the ecosystem good, you ensure that our regulations are in line with the world standards. On the contrary, they are not. That is creating a problem both for me in India and also in exports also. So this is the need of the hour. And luckily, I think it is happening. Like I should thank CII, and a lot of people are CII members, that thanks to TI's intervention in the last 1 or 2 years, we have been able to get decriminalization in most of the laws. Today, to be very honest with you, we should thank the government. It's a major step. They have decriminalized most of the laws, and still they are decriminalizing many more laws, which are PT laws. Obviously, you can't get decriminalized action which is, let us say, injurious to customer or which causes death. But in case of PT cases, they have decriminalized. I think GST I already mentioned is a success. Now, actually, the major work in SME or anything in business in reforms lies at the state level. And for that, what we have been always saying is that, like in GST, there was a council which decided all the major things. Even for the state level issues like land, labor, there has to be what I call a council of ministers or chief secretaries, which can take this and ensure that in all the states the similar reforms happen. And I believe something like this is being planned so that this benefits of liberalization, reforms are not only seen at the central level, but they also percolate down to the state level. This is the need of the hour. And as far as the labor codes, I should mention, everybody knows about the labor codes. We are all waiting that they are implemented now at the state level.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Piruz bhai, for the this is a wonderful insight. It just opens up a lot of thoughts and how the perspective can really change your the way you think. So thank you for that. Now moving on to so now I'll start touching upon the points that you mentioned. First point I want to touch upon the family business and the succession planning. Since Rasna is a family owned business with a very rich legacy, and what are some of the challenges? I want to begin with the challenges, right? So the challenges you have faced in the succession planning and ensuring a smooth transition of a leadership.
No, my father had no problem. My grandfather had no problem because they had one son each. My father was the only son, and my grandfather was the only son.
The only son.
So, and those days were different. Now I am going to have a success problem because I have 4 children, and for me, ladies and gents are equal, and I don't believe there are any difference. In fact, ladies are a little better than gents in terms of management and work today, if you ask me personally. So I will be more happier and safer if a woman drives a car than a man, if you ask me, to put it that way. But having
Absolutely.
said that, I believe that honestly, it is what I call is like the jungle rule. Who is the king of the jungle? The person who can kill. So I think if you ask me who should lead the family, the person who is qualified and has the killer instinct. So I am very clear, and I think this is not so difficult to find out that who is the one who has the killer instinct, who is the one who has a thought process, and who is the one who can get things done. And I am clearly believe that merit comes before anything else. And I think if families understand that merit comes. I tell a lot of people, and I got a challenge, in fact, to all my managers and letter meeting, not today, 20 years back, when I was probably not 30 years back, that today, if I am the boss, not because I'm my father's son, I am the boss because possibly in terms of knowledge and management, I can compete with anybody else who is equal to me in terms of profession. So let us say you can have a 20-year-old person for 20 years experience in America, Harvard, IIT, whatever, and I am ready to have a dialogue with him today on any subject concerning entrepreneurship management in FMCG. And then let us see the knowledge. In any law, I can talk of any law you want, right from income tax to GST to environment to labor, or any theory of management, marketing, or any theory of distribution. So I honestly believe that merit is important. So if families have to appreciate and understand that merit has to either come internally or externally, and so many families have to take this call that if they don't have a leadership or management skills at internal level which can lead, I somehow believe that let it be external. And a lot of good family businesses have understood this. I won't tell names. So what they have done is they have now professional people, which I appreciate, managing the shows on a day-to-day basis while the family actually runs the show more at a strategic level. And I think that is also a way forward. And there are companies where they believe that there is merit in the family and somebody can, from the professional, can drive the company. The reverse is true also. So I believe this is the way forward. And I did touch upon the fact that I somehow believe every company, and this is not for only the bigger companies, even a medium-sized companies needs a clear family constitution. Who will do what will be the each person's family's role, who is responsible for what. I think if that is made internally, it would definitely help in the overall day-to-day functioning of the business. Because for MSMEs, as I said, if the family survives and succeeds, the business succeeds, and vice versa. So that is why I'm spending so much time on it.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. Since you talked about the merit-based succession planning, but again, a lot of family businesses also faces the challenge around creating the family charter, the formal governance structure, and managing the business effectively. That is one of the lot of challenges almost every family businesses faces. So, what is your opinion on this? How important role that play the whole
I
governance
did
structure?
say it is very important. I said constitution, you are saying structure, the same thing. There has to be a clear family A. And honestly, once again, I'm saying all the things should be done based on merit, not because somebody is the main shareholder and his son is good, so that's why you are there. He's there not because he's the son of anybody, he's there because he is meritoriously capable of that job. I am very clear. And I also believe that there is something like a God-given instinct in a person. Something is a very good person who can do a very good singing. Somebody can manage very well. Somebody is a technocrat. Somebody can do marketing very well. Somebody can do technology very well. So I think it is better that families realize that it is better to ensure that the family member who has the specific USP in him, that is given chance to flower than doing something new. And luckily today, huge amount of startup culture has started. So if the large family is there, I definitely believe that it is much better to encourage youngsters in the family to start their own startups than everybody doing the same job. So possibly on that I had a huge A, and the family can support it little bit. I'm sure they can also outside people will be very happy to fund such startups. So there's a huge opportunity of that also. And the startup can be in a very different thing, like the father or the father can be making pumps and would be very good in pumps. The startup can be in food, making protein powder or protein bars. There is no need to be in pumps, or vice versa.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Piruz bhai. Moving on to the topic number two, which is the global exports, right? Looking at the international markets. So Rasna exports to over almost 50 countries today. And so one of the first thing is what strategies have been a key for you for your international expansion? And while doing that, what are the typical challenges you faced, especially with the different dynamics of the global markets, and how do you handle that?
See, like exports also, we have been through a whole round of changes. Earlier, I mentioned the India side. Now, let me go to the export side. Export, I started in the company in the year, exactly, I'm telling you, 92. 90, I mean, I started earlier, maybe 89, but then I was learning. I was an intern. So, with some charge, I got in the year 92. And by choice, I selected to be the first 2 years. Of course, I was interning in the factory. So 89 to 92, I learned the factory sticks. But at 92, I said, no, no, I don't want to do the India thing at all. I would like to take the fact that we can make Rasna global. At that time, we had almost zero export. One container a year is almost zero. So export. So that is what we took away. And when I went abroad on my trips, which were mostly to do with, let us say, understanding the markets and more, I found out that the good news is that none of the products we were making in India can be sold abroad. None. And the second good news I found is that other than Indian diaspora, Rasna was not known also. So zero knowledge. And Indian diaspora they'll not consume Indian product also. The third thing I learned. The first thing they want to leave when they leave India is the Indian brands because they want to be associated with foreign brands. Honestly, this is how the mind works. If you are in, let us imagine, if I am in London today, why would I eat Amul chocolate? Why should I eat Amul? So honestly, it is not my Rasta also for that matter. So three challenges. One, none of the products people want there. Number two, Indian brands they know but they don't want because they want to try foreign brand. Foreign chala gaya. And number three is, and very importantly, the layered markets are different. So we reoriented the wheel. We made products for abroad completely from scratch. So it's like we redid the product for export, packaging, taste, everything, the way, the formats. We had a whole factory made only for exports, and we did the whole marketing for export separately. There was no separate, like in Africa, I made ad with the local African football team. In Bangladesh, I made ad with the local celebrity. We didn't use a single Indian ad because the Indian ad won't want that. And in foreign, some markets, we also started brands which are not Rasna brands, which are non-Rasna brands, other brands, Fruito, Go Fruit, XYZ, Bollywood Bites. So we started many other brands also. So we started to use the whole 90s I spent on ensuring that we make Rasna a global player. And that time it was more difficult because except that Papad and Pickle, Rasna brand, the Indian brands were not anywhere. So the 90s was spent in that. Now, when we moved to 2000s, obviously India had changed, Indian perception had changed. And once again, like we did in India, we introduced a lot of innovative and modern products. Now, coming to their post-COVID world, there's a huge difference because I think India has now looked as an alternate to companies abroad. And I'll tell you what big thing we have done post-COVID. Post-COVID, we also have become, we are making for other brands also. Before COVID, we only spent money on Rasna brand, and we are doing now also. But now I have a separate team. And after COVID, we specially went across all supermarkets of the world who have food products. So let us say a Lulu or a Carrefour. And I believe that's a huge market for MSMEs. That's why I'm saying that we have started manufacturing for them in their label. Now, that is also a huge big business opportunity because there we are partnering with retailers and manufacturing under their brand. Also, we have taken the e-com route abroad to grow. So we have launched Rasna on almost all the e-com platforms abroad. So I was in UK and we are there in Amazon UK, we are there in Amazon USA. So we have after COVID two routes we have used: the e-com route to grow and the fact that we are now become what I call supporting manufacturers for many of foreign retailers in particular. The retailers are big. I'm talking of the Tesco's of the other area. So these are the areas, this is the routes we are growing. And in exports, we have a very notable achievement that 2 years back, we were the first company in the world to start a fully natural product, which you are launching in India also. It is called Rasna 100% natural. But abroad, that product is a major success because people are really wanting for natural products there. So no competitor had the product, completely natural color, completely natural flavor, only with fruit powder and with one-third sugar. In those markets, I have launched products with less sugar also or zero sugar also, stevia, sucralose, not saccharin. So we have launched a lot of sugar-free, sugarless, natural color, natural flavor products in the abroad markets, so which has been a great success. And coming to the big opportunity now, once again, I would like to thank the union government. They are signing the right FTAs. Like I think we have signed FTA with UAE, which is very good for India. We are now talking of signing FTA with the GCCs also. We have signed FTA with Australia. My request to MSMEs is take the benefits of these FTAs which the government is rightly signing. Earlier, PTAs like with ASEAN and all were not signed properly. India was at the receiving end. We had so much goods coming from Thailand and Malaysia, which we are still not able to stop. But today, the new FTAs, if we take the advantage of it, we can manufacture and sell in the whole of Dubai, in GCC, and we are talking of now a whole FTA which is to Europe also, and we are talking of the whole corridor. So I believe there is a huge opportunity for Indian MSMEs to become manufacturing bases and hubs for the whole of Europe and Middle East with these opportunities in FTA and the corridor, which I think I should thank the government and we should take the full benefit of these opportunities.
Absolutely, absolutely. And since you really mentioned about the how you have ran the campaign, marketing campaign with Bangladesh and the other countries, and you have not used any single Indian ads and totally local celebrities and everything. So we can clearly witness that you have an amazing acumen and the sight for the marketing. So I want to touch base upon that, and we have also witnessed the "I Love You Rasna" campaign here, and I don't think so anybody have ever forgotten that. So, with regards to marketing, Rasna's marketing campaigns have been featured many prominent celebrities. What are your strategy of choosing brand ambassadors, and what role do they play in building the brand?
There is a huge debate of almost every second marketing session debates this celebrity and non-celebrity.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so I tell a lot of people I am a professor of marketing, but I have luckily or unluckily I have learned marketing not by spending money on books, but by spending money in the market. So
yeah.
people read books while I experiment. So with my experience, I'm saying I once again repeat, I am learning marketing not by reading books, by actually experimenting. Because the only way you can learn marketing is if you do it. If you don't do it, nothing will happen. So in a lot of sessions on marketing, I have told people I'm not going to talk of it today. That what have been the failures in marketing? They said, Mr. Kambata, I have seen most of the people talking of successes. Why are you talking of failures? I said because failures teaches you success. How would I learn success if I don't fail? If I
Abs-
fall only, I will learn. So coming to
Absolutely.
my own experience of celebrity, I won't name celebrities because it's not fair on my part to name celebrities. Celebrities which are exactly to do with the DNA of the company, they succeed. So if my DNA is emotion, make in India, Indian ethos, I need a celebrity with those type of ethos. If I have a girl who is known for, let us say, doing Western songs, or who has married abroad and who is probably living half the time abroad, so image of the celebrity and DNA image of the brand have to gel. If you don't gel, you don't succeed. Number one. Number two, celebrities, I am very clear, only with experience, work in mass products. They don't work in class products. If you were to buy a beautiful Mercedes, you are not going to see who is driving the Mercedes to buy Mercedes. You are going to buy Mercedes because you really want to buy a Mercedes, because you want a Mercedes as a Mercedes. But if you are somebody in the village wanting to use a hair oil, thanda thanda, there if a celebrity comes and says, ye thanda jada thanda deta hai, you are more likely to understand it in a village or a mass. So I believe
Yeah.
celebrities are very good for mass-based products. And number three, celebrity ad cannot be made for celebrity. So anytime I have made a celebrity ad, I have never written a creative for the celebrity because you have to write a creative for the brand. Storyboard has to come for the brand. Then celebrity has to be selected as per the storyboard. So you don't take a celebrity and write because I am not marketing the celebrity, I am marketing my product. So first I need to understand what is the product, what is the message I want to communicate. The storyboard has to be written for the product, and then we understand that for the brand of the story, which celebrity to fit it. Otherwise, so we will become a promoter of the brand celebrity. That is not our idea. No? He has to pay me money for that. So this mistake I don't do. A lot of people do the mistake. And I don't believe that any celebrity will come on table and say, भाई मैं पीता हूँ पियो तो लोग पियेंगे मैं सलिया लेता हूँ सलिया ले लो अरे भैया मैं खाना पीता हूँ पी लो मैं टी शर्ट पहनता हूँ पहन लो भैया कोई करेगा नहीं People will buy the t-shirt if the t-shirt has something which is good and then the celebrity endorse it. Just because celebrity says I am going to wear this t-shirt, are you going to wear the t-shirt or wear that tablet? And in fact, a lot of people laugh at it. जैसे ये तो पहनने वाला ही नहीं है टी-शर्ट ये गाड़ी वापरने वाला नहीं. So we have to be very clear. The product story has to be product story, and the celebrity has to be a mascot talking of the story. It can't be the reverse. So this is what I have learned after spending money, and that's why sometimes our celebrity campaigns have not worked also if we do the mistakes.
No, no, we're very good friends. In fact, we are having a debate in our office on the very similar side. So I've got a good insight to talk now. So thank you very much for that. But now coming to the next question about we'll still stuck on the marketing, that with the rise of digital marketing, and Rasna was always have long legacy of using the traditional way of marketing as well, right? So how has Rasna adapted its marketing strategies to especially connect with the Gen Zs and the millennial consumer to these days, uh, especially with the rise of digital marketing era?
See, digital marketing, the way I see it is a great boon. I'll slightly hatke, I will talk and then I'll come to your answer also. Like
Sure.
most of the startups which are e-com based, if you ask me in food, the biggest thing which has happened in the last 3, 4 years is that in conventional brick and mortar brands, we used to take 10 years, 8 years to build a brand. Forget me, even the biggest of the biggest food companies, beverage companies used to take 5 years, 10 years to make a brand. Maggie was an open success, it was an open example. It took 20 years to build the whole concept, including Rasna. So we take time. In this whole game, you can have, let us say, a new some energy bar, or you can have something which is something new. Suddenly in the e-com, it can become a rage because people are very receptive to new products online. And suddenly I'm seeing that those brands become big and somehow their valuations also are much higher. So let us say if you're a brick and mortar brand, say 80% turnover coming from brick and mortar, even if you are profitable, listen to me carefully, even if you are profitable, your valuation is twice your turnover. So let us say I am a brick and mortar brand at 1000 crores, I'm a profitable brand, my valuation is 2000 crores. I think it is fair. Opposite is there. You are a B2B brand, 100 crore turnover, minus EBITDA, still you are valued at 2000. Listen to me. Still you are valued at 2000 with a minus because people believe that this brand has a more potential to grow. So, sum and substance is that today companies, now for me, there are two ways of looking. I look at this कि चलो भैया ये तो problem है e-com वाला आके मेरे को मारेंगे I'll be dead. No, I'm looking at this as an opportunity. So what we have done in Rasna is that we have made products for e-com like I'm a startup. So what I have done is I have made 4, 5 products which are only for e-com. Because how would I be able to sell? Suppose I'm selling one Rasna product today in the market at 10 rupees. Nobody is going to buy in e-com that at 10 rupees because they want a more premium product. So here I have got a product, Rasla Protein Vita, for example, mostly made for e-com, 400 rupees a packet. We are selling on, let us say, Flipkart and Amazon and Blinkits of the world. So these are the type of products we are trying to do in Rasna is, and then all our ads are in such a manner that the ads, you see the ad and there is a landing page, the landing page go to the e-com. So the whole idea is we are using social media marketing not only to build the brand, but to drive a host of value-added products like the new startups are doing. So I tell my people that one day, after 5 years, I'm going to high off the e-com division and get a higher valuation than the Rasna brick and mortar division. That's what my idea is.
No,
Think
no,
it that way.
no, no, absolutely. Thank you very much for that. And I'm just before I open up the questions to open forum, I still have a couple of questions, and then we'll open up because so I've been before getting I was doing some homework, and I've been listening to your other podcasts and other places where you talked. You've spoken a lot about importance of inclusive growth, and this is especially coming from the sustainability and inclusive side of the story, which is very important today, and it's getting a lot of importance. So how does Rasna contribute to this, and particularly in terms of rural development, entrepreneurial, and employment generations, and so on and so forth?
In all my public things, I always talked of one thing. We industry have a huge role to play. We
Absolutely.
can't be sitting in sitting rooms and saying ये government ने किया ये नहीं किया. I don't think that is our job. Government has given us a good mind. Government has given us money. Government has given us all the bandwidth. And I firmly believe that youngsters like you, I'm also youngster only. I'll be always be youngster. We should contribute to the development of the country. Then look at how we want to migrate to UK or Singapore or Dubai. उससे कोई फायदा नहीं होने वाला. God has given you birth in this country. Let us work for this country as religion. God has made me a Parsi. I am a proud Parsi, and I do everything what a proud Parsi would do. I am sure next year I become a Christian, I'll be a proud Christian. Similarly, God has made me an Indian. I'll be very happy to be in India and live and die for this country. So and contributes more importantly. And the biggest contribution we can do, if you ask me, is employment generation. If youth don't get proper jobs, this is what has happened in our neighborhood. And that's why meeting after meeting, I'm saying government and should support job with job making growth. Growth which is just growth without leading to jobs is of no use. And so I was very happy when in this budget the government announced a host of, once again CII was part of this, what I call consultation, that they announce employee link incentive schemes where you generate more employment and the government is willing to give you incentives. I believe even the PLI, the productive link incentive scheme, should be linked to more employment. I do believe government should, on the contrary, make tax free products which are leading to more employment, like leather, food processing. In meeting after meeting, I tell government, "Bhai, why do you want to tax items which actually give more employment?" On the contrary, instead of giving 500 rupee dole to a person for not working, you exempt food processing from tax. We will employ more people and we will give them salaries is more important than giving a dole. Forget exempt. Even keep it a lesser tax, I am okay. What is the point of putting 18% tax? Even 5% I am okay. Forget exempt. So what I'm saying is, somehow or the other, government and us should work mostly in skill development, employment. And one more suggestion, which I have only given openly, is that the CSR money should be used for skill development and education. Because all said and done, why should I do CSR which is not for my own benefit, for my sector's benefit? So I think these all things have been done. And today I think this budget has clearly shown the government wants to give importance to industry to be their partners in employment generation. And I believe that we should be doing it. One. Number two, I strongly agree with our Prime Minister. We should make in India most of the products. We should not be dependent on imports. Like in Rasna, I have at my cost of my balance sheet and profitability, I have made products in India because I knew okay, if I depend on China or something, I'll be one day dead. So I have never, I have always resorted to Swadeshita, Indianness, not because of any slogan, for business reasons, purely for business reasons. And I have succeeded. So I believe we should make in India most of the products for business reasons, and we should also export most of our products for business reasons. So I do believe these three things, if we do, I think we are better off. And fourth, of course, if you have money and if you have time and bandwidth, like my own sister, my wife, we are having running foundation, trust, but that is something extra. I'm not going to say you do it. If you want, you do it. But at least you should. We can provide more skilled employment to people. I think this is a minimum thing we can do as industrialists.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is amazing what you talked about especially on the employment generation. So, and that brings to my last question. And last question is maybe personally for me, also of course for everyone. But I always believe that every leader, successful leader, always goes with the one particular their philosophy. So I want to know what is your leadership philosophy and or what you believe in strongly as a leader, which is essential to steer a business sustain or a growth for a long term.
I think to not to look at the rear window at all. If I today look at anything which I have done yesterday and start planning today, I am dead because the world is changing very fast. So I live for the moment, and if at all live for the future, I even don't think of the past. I forget the past for the simple reason that what is there in the past. If I say I was so great 2 years back, they'll say forget it.
Yeah.
Failures they happened, forget it. So we'll live for today, we'll live for the future, and let us as a country. If you ask me, I firmly believe that I am working here not only for myself because I am working with a goal for the country, for my community, for my company. I believe industrialists who only work for their own profitability today will not survive the longer run. I honestly believe my father also told me, and most of the Parsi companies, we started business as trust. We started business with the idea, okay, yes, of course, I'll make money. I will have the best of the suit, I will have the best of the car, but I will also ensure that my community prospers. I will ensure that my nation prospers. And I am a trustee of society. I'm repeating. I'm not saying that I'm going to live on a sleep or something, or I'll try fly economy and I will not try by trade. Of course, I will do all that. but I will also ensure that I spend equally or more so for the benefit of society at large and work for the nation's overall progress. And that is the mindset at which I am working. In COVID time, most of the people were sitting. I was donating ventilators, oxygenators, and ICU beds. And I was importing myself. In fact, I paid duty. That first time I paid duty. In fact, I talked to a very big person. I said, why do you want me to pay custom duty if I'm importing a ventilator? He said, no, Mr. Kambata, pay, will give you a refund later. I said, yes, I'll pay. The refund has not come yet, but I still paid from my pocket the duty also. So that is the idea we are working with.
Awesome. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Piruz Bhai, for the wonderful session. Now, I have the questions from our audience, and a couple of questions. We'll start with the question from Mr. Ashwin Gandhi. He asked that how your grandfather think of the name Rasna, and
My
which brand of
grandfather
the.
never thought, my father thought. And Rasna
Okay.
was not taught by my father also. We had an advertising agency at that time called ONM, and which is, of course, one of the biggest agency today also. So we depended on professionals, and they thought of the name Rasna. Actually, our Rasna's first name was Jafe. When we had started, in Gujarat, it was called Jafe, and then renamed as Rasna by our advertising agency called ONM, and we agreed to it because we always believe that advertising agency professionals, we should let them take final decisions because they are probably better off than us in that. So that's why it was called Rasna. Not because some people asked me, your some daughter is named Rasna or something. I said no, it was taken a professional decision, and that's why Rasna, because we wanted to go pan India, and Rasna name was such that it can take us pan India.
Okay. He also asked that, so he's looking for your advice on before entering family business. Next, do you think that next generation should work outside for few years for experience before entering?
I did answer it. It depends on the family situation. If the family situation is such that you can allow him and there is no need of urgency for somebody to join the business, I think it's a very good idea that A, either he works outside as a professional, or B, he starts his own startup. I would have selected earlier idea of working as a professional, but in today's days, I think the startup is a better idea because you learn much more as driving a car. So I think if he has the entrepreneurship speak in a younger generation, we should encourage him to start a startup. This is my better option.
Okay,
And
perfect,
that
perfect.
also in unrelated category. So if the family is in hospitality business, the boy should not start in a hotel or a restaurant. He should probably start something else, maybe a plumbing
Sure,
shop,
sure.
online
Perfect.
plumbing shop.
Yes. Okay. We have a question for Bhavik Khera. Bhavik Bhai is asking you that what are your thoughts on what is happening in Bangladesh and its impact on India?
I did mention, I won't say Bangladesh itself, but I think if you see our whole neighborhood, the fruits of development. See, if you see the GDP of Bangladesh, the way it has grown in the last 10, 15 years is better than many countries. But unless and until the fruits of development and success percolate down to a common man, that success is not seen as a success. So let us say if the benefits, and I'm not making this any political speech also at all. I am not a politician nor have one idea to get into politics. But the benefit of growth and development, unless and until it goes to the whole country, it will not. Otherwise, we are creating what I call pockets of, what I call good, and pockets where there is so much poverty that those people are desperate and out coming on the roads. So I believe there has to be some equality and equity. And for to that extent, I think industry should be very happy paying their taxes. We should be very happy working with the government. And I think if we have a nation, I can visualize a nation where, for me, more important than increasing the what I call millionaires and billionaires or having the highest number of people on the folks, this would be to obviously increase our per capita income. And I think how do we work towards that? I somehow believe that is the answer to terrorism, that is the answer to Naxalism. And I have said in meetings after meeting, why do you run after quota? Quota is required if there are no jobs. If you create more jobs, there will be no quota required. You create, like for example, education institutions. When I was young, there was a queue to get into BBA and MBA. Today there are so many seats available, there is no queue. Where is the need of any quota? Oh, seat खाली पड़ी है, quota की क्या जरूरत है? You create so
Correct.
many jobs, there is no need of quota. Similarly, you create so much education institute, there is no need of quota. Then the whole thing is gone. India requires best of education institutes. We require more jobs. We require more skilled jobs, and let us work towards that. And similarly, hospital beds.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Very well said on that. Wow. So this next question is from Mr. Vasu Pandey. He asks that if you can tell us a little bit about any upcoming products or innovations that Rasna is very excited about.
I won't tell the product because I tell somebody will copy it.
Okay. Okay, you got your
So,
answer.
but yes, I can tell you that we are working on some newer generation milk-based products for sure. And we are also working abroad, as I told you, on some more natural products. So that much I can tell you, but obviously I can't give you the exact details.
Okay, perfect. And what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs looking especially to enter into FMCG sector?
I think enter the e-com route, I did mention. I think it is slightly easier to enter through e-commerce. And that is one arena to have more value added products and enter to the e-com route in differentiated niche categories is the way forward. So you can introduce 10, 15 products in that route. Then you can study the market, which is good. And then probably two, three products first you take into modern trade and then take it into general trade. That is in my mind, in the last few years, I have seen a very, what I call, I will not say short, but definitely a route where the chances of success are higher.
Okay. All right. Okay. Next question is from Mr. Mitsuko. He asks that in Indian family business tends to keep wealth within the family, and SME family business in particular continues to be more private. Do you think this could be one of the reasons why India's unemployment rate is rate in young people?
The last thing I couldn't hear you. Unemployment is what?
Do you think that this could be one of the reasons why India's unemployment is high in young people?
See, we cannot say unemployment is high because of MSMEs. So to the last part, I don't agree. I think the unemployment has to do with a lot of other issues also. So it can't be only because of MSMEs. But coming to keeping wealth within MSMEs, see, if you ask me, what is the harm in it? If there's a family business and if they are wanting to keep it private, I think I will support it. If they are wanting to keep the wealth amongst themselves, I will support it. It depends on the requirement of the business. But of course, if the business says, let us say, business plan where you need 1,000 crores, they may want to take it public also. So we cannot be generalizing. As regards employment is concerned, MSMEs are a very big route to provide employment. Our chief minister just yesterday attended a conference and he said that Gujarat has 20 lakh MSMEs, while it
Yeah.
has only 100 fortune companies, is all in the papers. So imagine where would employment come from more? From MSMEs. And that is probably, I use the word employment and the need to provide employment so many times in this interaction with you. And I definitely believe government should support MSMEs because MSMEs can create jobs. Government should support with a PLI, which is employment linked for MSMEs. Today, in my opinion, the PLI is only given to the big guys. Why not MSMEs? So I somehow believe, in fact, at the state government, one asked me, I won't name the name of the state government. I was talking to the industry minister. What is the single biggest thing we can do to get more MSMEs? I said, you stop all your schemes. He is giving 5 lakh to somebody for something, 5 lakh for some ISO 9000, 5 lakh for some brochure to go abroad. I said, forget all that. He said, what do I do? I said, you have a simple scheme. You generate 100 more jobs, we'll give you X amount. Legalized jobs with ESI and PF. Link it to job creation and link it to growth of your company in your balance sheet, and you will see the difference. I somehow believe that that is the need of the hour. And second, please help MSMEs in exports. The biggest problem in export is our cost of finance is very high. Our competitors work with 2% money, 3% money. Cost of freight is very high. Logistic cost is very high. In fact, I was in a presentation, and luckily I make presentations to government. To a very senior government official, I told him $10,000 is the cost of a container. The cost of the freight is $2,000. Internal freight is $1,000, $3,000. 30% is the cost of logistics. How can I compete? He said, Mr. Kambata, that would be the same for Vietnam. I said, no. Vietnam and China, there is one third of it, one fourth of it, the government subsidizes. So
Yeah.
how is the cost of logistic port charges? Freight is killing us. How can we survive? It is not that we are not non-competitive. Otherwise, tell me one thing. Why should all the tomato ketchup we eat, that paste comes from China? Then we can get Indian paste. Why?
Yeah.
Because of this only what I said. So there are so many such examples. So the government should support MSMEs. If the government supports MSMEs, we are the people who can provide jobs. And I fully endorse that yes. But for that, I think more support will be required from the government.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Piruz bhai. Uh, this one question is from Mr. Mayank. He asked that, what do you think, Piruz bhai, about the role of AI, especially in today's time, in agro and food processing sector, particularly, as you mentioned about skills and employee generation. AI is about to replace the jobs, and to compete with the global industries need to adopt AI. So how and so what's your views on that?
See, luckily, food business and is I somehow believe AI is not going to take any jobs. AI will definitely take jobs from the call center business. It will take from the IT business, and I am not a fan of those businesses. In fact, openly I have said that IT businesses are creating more problems for us. In Bangalore was a very better city when before the IT people invaded there. There is waterlogging and there is no traffic. I somehow believe that we need to create pockets of excellence in the rural areas. And that will come by promoting agro and rural based industries like food processing, handicrafts, toys, etc. And I somehow believe AI will not be able to take jobs there. In fact, AI can help these industries. For example, AI can help the farmer, AI can help the agro processor, AI can help the technology. And I somehow believe that we have to complement the benefit of AI in our industry. And that is the way forward, honestly speaking. So, at least
Absolutely.
I'm talking of my sector. I can't talk of somebody others. Finance, I can't talk. Maybe banks, I cannot talk. I definitely believe services sector jobs are definitely going to be, what I call affected by AI. And I am happy for it because at least in those cities, we'll be able to live better, if you ask me honestly, on a lighter note.
Absolutely, absolutely perfect. This is a very interesting question by Mr. Udit. He asked that, what is the ideal route for a manufacturing startup in Gujarat, especially remaining private or going public? And why did Rasna choose to stay private despite the potential benefits of tapping into India's growing shareholder market?
See, I'll tell you in very simple economics, which I told a lot of people. This question is a very simple question. I'm saying if I am going public, I have to give a return which is at least double digit to my investor. No. I'm not a person who is going to run away. There are people who go public. I'll tell you, some people go public because they want to run away from India. They want to take the money and wrap away. Some people go public because they are private investors and they have forced them in a shareholder agreement that you have to go public beyond this date. They want to make the money. Some people go public because they want to have huge investment required in technology and all, which we probably they need money. But for me, if I have internal funds and if I am not generating, if I put in a bank or if I put in Indian stock market, I'm getting 8 and 9%, then my money, why should I not put in my own business? So I personally believe that if you have money which you can put in your own business, then there is no need to really take somebody else's money. Why don't you grow your own money? But if I need
Absolutely.
money which is say 5 times bigger than what I can put, obviously I'll go public tomorrow. Tomorrow I will go public. So I believe it is depending on the need of the business plan, not my personal need. But somehow or other believe, I never believe that you should go public just to, what I call cash out. I don't believe because this cash out strategy, Indians are losing their business. I'll tell you how it happens. You are a good company, and let me tell you a right example of a right company. I will not tell you the name. Good company doing very well. Young boy came in. He was approached by a P fund. Come in, my young man, I'm going to give you this. P fund said yes. They put in 10%. 26%. Today, he doesn't own the company. The P fund and the outside people have taken over the company. Because if they read the agreements, they are such that over a period of time, you will become a manager in your own company. So
Yeah.
I somehow believe that he was better off. Of course, he's more global now, he's bigger now, but he was better off being an owner of a medium-sized company than being a manager in a global company. I'm repeating. So what you
Yeah.
ask me? So it is better now you are a boss of a forest than you are a pauper. I don't know. So this is the models which are I don't like those models. In my mind, I am better off being the boss of the company than being
Absolutely.
a minority or a manager in my own company.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think we'll just end up a couple of more questions and we'll wrap it up. But this one question is one more from Bhavik Bhai is, what are your thoughts on why don't we have too many unicorns from Gujarat?
See, I think a lot of unicorns can't be on Gujarat, but they are Gujarati owned, which is more important. Because I somehow believe that today, when we talk of country, we don't talk of only Gujarat or Maharashtra, but we should be very proud that there are a lot of unicorns which are controlled and owned by Gujarati companies. So I think we
Absolutely.
should be proud of that. And I don't think Ahmedabad location or Baroda location is something which should bother us. And I think to that extent, I tell a lot of people that if you are a novice in the stock market also, And if you don't know nothing much, at least you are better off investing in a Gujarati run company than a non-Gujarati run company. So that much I
Absolutely.
can tell you. So that if
Very well
that
said.
and the Gujarati company can be based in Bangalore for that matter, or Delhi, that doesn't matter, or maybe London also. That doesn't matter.
Absolutely. Very well said. Absolutely. And there's one last question from Sheetal. She asked that what are your thoughts on scaling on social initiatives in creating and enhancing social impact in diverse area of development?
That's why I just now said the government has allowed companies to use their CSR funds for skilling.
Yeah.
I somehow believe it's a very good big step. And I'm talking of something which has happened in this budget. I'm talking topical, not yesterday. Yesterday is this last month only. So to
Yeah.
that extent, we should all come together. And I believe there is a need for sectoral skill development institutes. So for example, people can come together of a given sector. Let us say I am into fruit processing, into mangoes. So 5 companies in mango processing can come together and have a mango skill development center where people are, what I call, given the, what I call skill development for the mango processing industry. Similarly, it can happen across clusters. So that way, what will happen is that we will be able to use our CSR money productively, A, and B, ensure that where is the main problem? We are getting jobs, we are getting people, but not skilled people. We'll also get skilled people for our own businesses. So this is probably a way together, and we don't need the government for it. We can set up a society ourselves. So let us say I, with 5 companies in my sector, can set up a small society or a trust or a foundation company and set up our own skill development center, and where we train the people in our sectors and absorb them and teach them. This is the way forward. And we don't need government support for that. We don't need also. We can do it on our own. As a society, it will be better and faster. So probably this is the way we should really go ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There
Thank
are
you.
a
Thank
few questions. 1 minute, just one, because there are a few questions on the chat box also. You may want to just take them.
I think those are the summarized I have received from the Chirag. So he's just compiling everything and putting it together.
So
So it's
somebody,
easy.
for example, asked that we are building a brand in home care segment for liquid detergent wash. We are selling in 4 states, supermarket, general trade, Amazon. Any good advice? I think the advice for you is to go, let us say, more online in terms of online selling. So 2, 3 questions are there. Social entities also talk. Open it. Which are the other things? Let me see.
There is one question from Upendra Singh ji. He asked that he asks to be part of the development growth story of this country. Does Rasna has diversification, expansion interest to cover the growing demands in a whole across African countries and encourage more MSME Indian companies to set up their trade supply chain in Africa and supports PLI linked employment policy? Also, I'm still confused with the question.
Sure. As far as Rasna is going in Africa, we are obviously going in Africa in a big way. As far as PLI is concerned, that is something to do with India. So these are two
Yeah.
separate questions. Now, the last question I can see is, good evening. My question is to you, is that increased startup essentially in bootstrap equity? See, the second question is, as regards working capital needs are concerned for startups, I somehow believe it is an absolutely good time to raise capital for startups through the equity route, where you can have, let us say, what I call quasi equity structures also. So I'm telling Arjun that if you go to companies, there are quasi equity structures where somebody gives you something like a CPP or a paper, commercial paper, which they can later convert in equity. And maybe you can also keep the conversion in such a manner that based on certain successes or not, you can convert. So I somehow believe these quasi structures of debt and equity are more better for startups to raise capital. And I'm sure if you employ a good, let us say, a banker who will advise you, I'm sure you will be able to get these type of deals where you get debt now with an option to convert to equity at certain milestones. I think that is a better route to grow.
Absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you very much, Piruz Bhai, for your time, and you have been such a candid throughout. It was absolutely pleasure having a conversation with you. I still have a lot of questions, but we are just running short of time, and I
No,
think
second time maybe.
I think I can talk to you for a whole day, and I still won't get enough out of from you. So thank you very much for such a wonderful session, and thank you everyone for joining today. Once again, signing off with episode 4 of Firing.
Thank you to all of you for being. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much,
much.
sir. Thank you, Rohan.
Thank you.
Pleasure
Thank you.
listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.